Racing takes place on Saturday at Turfffontein, racing on the Standside track the 15th of April 2023, and it is the Grade 1 Princess Charlene Empress Club Stakes, and we're looking forward to the event. Obviously, the likes of Princess Kala are not taking a place, but it's still going to be a cracking event with some top quality horses on show. And I'm joined by Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how are you doing, and what's your thoughts on the 10 race program?
Yeah, we're here, all good, thanks. Greetings to all the viewers, and we hope that it's going to be a wonderfully Royal Empress Club Day. I think, to be fair, to call a spade, and I've never had a problem with a weight for age Group 1 having a small field, but it does take down the excitement down a notch. But with that said, we've got Group 1 winners of Plainsy, Desert Miracle, Under Your Spell, or Group 1 winners, and potentially one of the 3-year-olds to upset the apple cart when it comes to that particular race. But I think it's a very, very nice card. It might be a notch below expectations when the nominations came out last week. Obviously, Princess Kala, last year's winner of the Princess Charlene Empress Club Stakes, has been scratched due to an elevated temperature just over a week ago, and the choice has been made not to chance it, in a Group 1 so close. But overall, I've seen far worse cards, I must be honest. So I'm hoping that it goes according to plan. I think there's some nice youngsters who run that could pay to follow in the coming months.
Well, speaking of youngsters, let's start in race number 1 with Juvenile Plate over the 1160 meter trip. And your favorite in this lineup is number 2, Pure Predator at 18-10. Barbaresco, hopefully I'm getting the pronunciation right there. That's been supported from 6-1 into 33-10. Fire and Flames have drifted out, and then number 7, Ethanator, 10-1 down 5-1. So there are 2 first-timers that are attracting quite a bit of betting support in race number 1. But have you heard anything of these first-timers, Alistair?
I haven't, Raheel. Of the race runners, I think number 2, Pure Predator, is the one that needs to be back down the straight. I think is a huge kicker for the son of New Predator. He had no right to win his debut, and the way that he quickened was very encouraging. And then last time, even though he had learnt a lot from his first start, I think just going around the turn may have just put pay to him finding his feet in time. So I think back down the straight, number 2, Pure Predator, is of the race runners the horse to beat. But the race runners all have their claims. 3 exchange students has got number 1, Fire and Flames, stone cold at the weights. She hated the soft last time out, and her work has stepped up quite significantly, but I don't know. I think one of the first timers could be very good, so exchange student probably a place chance. Ampersand stayed on very nicely on debut. Bombs franked that form. I was surprised to see him not go further than 1160 second time out, so maybe they're just teeing him up for next time. And as you mentioned, 4 of these first timers are very well bred. Barbaresco, of course, the mother was raced by the Werner's family and trained by Johan Janse van Vuren, so they paid a lot of money to buy the son of Gimme the Green Light back. Ethanator, as you say, very well bred son of Rafif from a yard that's got unbelievable line with 2-year-olds, and both Alec Laird's runners make a hell of a lot of appeal on breeding. Good to have Nick Johnson with the silks up on the half outs as well. So not much help in race 1. I respect the money a lot of the first timers, but the horse they need to beat is number 2, Pure Predator.
You think this is a form line that we could follow in time to come?
100% rubber stamped.
That's race number 1, and a competitive start to the day. Number 2, off the race runners, possibly the one to beat, but keep a very close eye on the first timers, especially the way they go down to the start. Now we're going to move along to race number 2. 10:12 is the time you need to get your bets on for race 2. This is the start of the bipart, 1160 meters the distance. It's a juvenile plate for the fillies, and your fixed odds betting market has got Woman of Fame at the top at 16-10. Red Hot Rose is at 18-10. It's then a 5-1 about Ice Star, who was disappointing last time out behind Egyptian Mao. It's 6-1 and better bar those. Now, Alistair, both these fillies that top the betting market do have nice runs, and they've met before with Woman of Fame getting the better of Red Hot Rose, but that was Woman of Fame's second run, Red Hot Rose's first start, and I don't think there's going to be much to choose between the 2, even though Woman of Fame did take on winners last time out in that feature.
Yeah, look, I think only 2 horses can win this race, Raheel. And as you rightly say, on the run to Rani of Couture, there's 3 parts of a length for Woman of Fame to play with, but obviously we got the improvement angle from Red Hot Rose. Let's be honest, Red Hot Rose should have won her last start. She was a winner the whole way through the race until the final few strides when Soldier's Eye came from nowhere, and Red Hot Rose was sort of just getting a little bit silly at the finish. So I think that stepping up, or rather dropping in distance for number 7, Red Hot Rose, might give the initiative to number 10, Woman of Fame. That's just my inkling here. I have nothing concrete to go on. I think that, Simanga Kamala would have learnt a lot from Woman of Fame last time out, because she too looked fairly dangerous going on until the final 300 metres, when leaving Las Vegas found a third wind and got herself across the line. So I think form will stand up here. Candice's first time at the Source Champimpi is very nice. She's going to need further, but she very easily good enough to run to the first 4 on debut. She's not wound up at all, and like I said, double this distance, she'll probably be a very, very nice horse, but expect her to be running on into the amount of money.
Perfect. We'll keep a very close eye on that. 25 to 1 in the market, the price of horse number 8, Champimpi, and one that could possibly doing her best work at the finish. But number 7 and 10, those are the horses that could possibly fight out the finish here, and certainly those 2 horses are the ones to go for in race in leg number 1 of that bipart. Next up, we're going to move along to race number 3, and this is Maiden Plate, where there are plenty inward chances. 1160 meters the distance. It's not an easy start to the place accumulator, but I think punters may have to take a stance. 1240 is the time you need to get those PA bets on. Give Me a Diamond 9 to 2 into 7 to 2. Quixote at 5 to 1. Simply Magic 11 to 2 in the market, and then it's 15 to 2. And better bar those. Now, Alistair, this race here, lots of form to work with. Obviously, Give Me a Diamond ran behind Bob's Your Uncle, and that was a very, very tight call on that occasion. Bob's Your Uncle, he was a surprise winner given the improvement that he showed from his first start, but he won straight out the maidens, and he showed lots of heart, and I'm not sure, maybe you would have been on the course that day to see this victory, but lots of guts and heart from Bob's Your Uncle, and the form line has held up very nicely.
Yeah, I presented that day when Bob's Your Uncle won at the VAR just over a week ago, and it was a really courageous win. He surprised Lucky Hudulakas with the manner of that win. I don't think Bob's Your Uncle is the most convincing at work, but when you got the attribute of never say die, then that goes a long way to making you a better racehorse than you have any ought to be. So, to go back to the points, that form is working out very nicely with number 1, Give Me a Diamond. My concerns with Give Me a Diamond, though, is dropping to the sprints. I know that he probably should have won his last start. Had he had any better draw, if he was drawn 12 out of 13, he probably wins. And now in contrast, he's drawn towards the inside in a big race, in a big field down the straight. So I'm sure he'll be ridden for luck, and I hope he's not finding his feet when the race is all over. So that's how I read it. Chance, but I'm not singing from the rooftops. I think the most convincing opportunity here is for Quixote, who too is not the most reliable around, but I think that he's probably got his best chance, coming out fresh. I think that there was one start, his penultimate start, I think sort of ran the life out of him from that draw on the Val Classic track. He got to the final 200 meters and he was just all legs, just literally crying for the line. So I think just giving him a little bit of a breather for 79 days and getting him back to the sprint, obviously with his valuable maiden with a stake of 300,000 Rand in mind, I think that the fresh angle with number 2 Coyote gives him an advantage. But I respect a view here. 3 Raptor Island dropping in trips at chance. I've been with Stuart Pettigrew chatting to him. Iron Sky over 1160. He's going to need a lot of luck and be held up forever. When he wins a race, he's more likely to be over 1,000 meters. Mazzara is doing very nicely. Back to the sprint, place chance. Silver Cute has got credentials as well. You'll go through the entire race. I don't really trust Pour Some Sugar on Me. I don't really trust Simply Magic. So, like I said, I think number 2 Coyote is the most reliable chance in a very open leg of the place accumulator starting.
Yeah, tricky race, but Alistair going to be with number 2. I'm going to take a chance and go with number 6, Silver Tudor. I know that he ran in a work riders last time out, but I just get the feel that the draw could just suit this individual. He could get a bit of cover early on in the race, and in quite a big field, it could go a decent gallop. And with Richard Fourier aboard, he could actually be suited by the drop back to the 1160. So a tricky start to the place accumulator. It all depends how many numbers you are going to put into the first leg, and hopefully you manage to come through with maybe even the limited spin. Then you've done very, very well. But that's race number 3, the start of the PA. Next up, race number 4, which is going to be the start of the Pick 6, and the Pick 6 could certainly be the way that you want to go on Saturday. 1160 meters a distance. 1:15 is the time you need to get your bets on for this MR 103 handicap, and it's an exciting event because there are quite a few horses inward chances here, and Alistair, when we have a look at this race, obviously the horse that catches the eye is number 4, Hit 'em Hard Sunshine, who ran an absolute cracker last time out in the Pinnacle Stakes behind Master Archie. Now, before we get on to Hit 'em Hard Sunshine, how good was that win from Master Archie, carrying 62 kgs back with the Peters? I mean, the way he won must have been so encouraging for the yard.
Yeah, that was very hard to believe, the way that Master Archie couldn't put one foot in front of the other for 6 months, and all of a sudden he looks like the computer form sprint winner again. It was an unbelievable win. Well, when it comes to the computer form sprint, we have to see who else is coming from around the country. I take it there'll be a few coastal hopes that'll make the trip up, certainly from KZN, but Master Archie, I think, will start favourite in that race on the back of what we saw. So I think that gives number 4, Hit 'em Hard Sunshine, good claims. I can report he's doing very well at home. The concern is that he does give weight away. Chayavana for me is one of the most improved horses in the half world, one of the most improved horses in the country. I remember when he won his maiden, it was a particularly weak race. He came out the maiden's race at 73, and you told me that, he's been sparingly raced in a year, but 10 runs down the line, he'll nearly be rated 100. I don't think the connections would have believed you, let alone me. So Chayavana is only up a huge chance. And this might sound a bit crazy, but I think Ikigai, number 8, is a big chance as well. If he gets across from the inside draw, we saw Donald Hertzen ride one for Terry the other day. Constable stick to the inside of the VAR, so I'm hoping that Sean gets through to him on this occasion with number 8, Ikigai.
Ish, what was going on there, man?
Yeah, I don't know. But little forget or remember, depending on your memory bank. But he is a Group 2 winner. He won the Gauteng Guineas, did number 8, Ikigai. His ratings obviously plummeted along the way. He's not won over a sprint, a bit of a question mark, but there were big signs of life last time in a Pinnacle Stakes when running 4th to William Robertson. Second run after a break, I think he'll be a fitter, better horse. I don't think he's far away from winning. I think he'll run a big race. So I think the winner comes from one of 4 horses, number 6, Tread Swiftly. Awfully unlucky last time up when finishing behind Chayavana. So I think the winner comes from one of those 4, and I'll be happy to put all 4 in the pick 6.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on number 6, Tread Swiftly, Alistair, because last time out we actually threw him into the mix with the Strikers Trade Room board despite the 62, and he was terribly unlucky on that stand-side running rail, just no gap at all, and he's 2 kgs better off with Chayavana, so perhaps he could get a bit closer to the action, but he's certainly not a horse that we can discount, and I can tell you that he has found quite a bit of early support, 10-1, down 5-1 in the market, while Chayavana's at 28-10 and Hit 'em Hard Sunshine is at 3-1. But it's a nice race, and a race where you don't have to go too wide. I think numbers 4, 6 and 7, those look to be the runners that where the winner could come from, and Alistair including number 8, Ikigai, into the mix from the Sean Terry yard. Race number 5 on the day goes off at 10-2, 1800 meters a distance, and this is a fillies and mares 98 divided handicap where your favorite is Crimson Princess, trading at 5-2. 5-2, Gilded Butterfly. It's 28-10, Terror Time. Escape Artist in some cracking form at the moment. She's at 5-1, then it's 6-1, and Better Bardos. Now, this horse, Crimson Princess, Ryan Munger back aboard. Maybe a horse that is a bit low on confidence. Her last 2 starts, I thought she ran creditable races behind Tulip True on both occasions. But she's got the likes of Gilded Butterfly to think about, but Gilded Butterfly has got lots of weight to carry in this lineup, Alistair. 61.5 kgs.
She's got Gilded Butterfly absolutely stone cold at the weights, and just as you say, short of confidence for number 3, Crimson Princess at the moment. I've been for, I don't know how many more times you want to punish me with number 3, Crimson Princess. I keep going with her, and now I'm just twice shy. I think number 2, Terror Time, is a huge chance here. Marco van Rensburg takes a ride, and she's been a bit stiff in her last 2 starts, both in feature race company. At her penultimate start, that was all a mess behind Clafouti and behind. I do think she was going out the back door, to be fair, but with that said, she would have had to almost be invisible to have gone through the gap that she was in between with a few strides to go. And then last time in the Jacaranda as well, that was also a bit of a messy race, and she ran into a bit of trouble. This time she's got a draw I think number 2, Terra Time's the horse that they all need to beat. I respect the chances of number 1, Gilded Butterfly. She's got to go in, even though Crimson Princess has her absolutely stone cold on the Yellowwood on the 29th of October. But, she at least has got the feature race win under the belt. And I think number 4, Escape Artist, is a chance as well. I know Sean's always been dying to run her over a trip, and now that she's got her confidence back in winning again, she's not one to totally discount, and she could still be above the handicapper. So I've tipped to Jackpot as my main play because for some inexplicable reason there's no pick 6 carryover on a Group 1 day, so my Jackpot 1 numbers are 1, 2 and 4.
Alistair, what's your thoughts on number 5, Southern Song? Because I just feel she could be some value at 12 to 1 in the market. I mean, if we go to the Yellowwood handicap run, Terra Time from 53, she's carrying 61.5, so she's gone up 8.5, whereas Southern Song has gone down half, and she's 9 kgs better off for a 4-length beat. And so I thought at around 12 to 1, she offered tremendous value in just a 7-horse field.
Also unlucky at her penultimate start, the run to none other when giving the subsequent Wilkerbos Drift Oaks filly weight, also a good piece of form. I think her best chance though is running fresh. She was unlucky last time out. I thought that she was moving into at least compete in the finish. I just think that she runs her absolute best races coming out fresh.
Yeah, that's number 5, Southern Song. Certainly want to keep an eye on at around 12 to 1 in the market. But Alistair, going to be with horse number 2, Terra Time from the Lucky Hood Larkus Yard with the Marco van Rensburg aboard. Next up, race number 6, and this is Fillies and Mares, 78 divided handicap over 1,800 meters. And your favorite in the lineup is number 2, Trump My Queen, trading at 22 to 10. It is then 33 to 10 about LMB. High Roller 5 to 1, 6 to 1 about Special Charm, Burmese Tiara 7 to 1, and Better Bar those. Now, this is a race where we obviously see the horses that have been competing in a bit lower divisions. They're taking a part in the lineup with a lot less weight on their back here. But let's start at the top with the favorite, Trump My Queen, 22 to 10 a current price. The draw possibly not a positive for her, given that she's drawn out in gate number 9. But Raymond Danielson, he gets on well with her, and he could just get to this filly into the winner's enclosure.
I think the pace will be on here, Raheel, so I think that'll help Trump My Queen. When I first looked at the race, I was very, very, very keen on number 2, Trump My Queen. She is my top choice, but the more you look at it, I think number 4, Linger No More, at any price, I think comes into the play, as does number 9, Skyfall. I just want to start with number 9, Skyfall. It was a big run last time out behind Romeo's Magic. Broncos Yard is going along very nicely at the moment, and off bottom weight, despite being 1 pound under sufferance. I saw enough last time for number 9, Skyfall, to at least back her up and think that she'll run the same type of race. For Linger No More, here's my thinking. She needed her last run badly. Ignore that. She made absolutely no show. But in her anti-penultimate start on the 1st of December, she ran a length and a half behind High Roller, and she got High Roller absolutely cold. I don't particularly like High Roller here, but I think if High Rollers, I think you said 5 or 6 to 1 in this race.
Yes.
I think Linger No More deserves a little bit more respect in the market. So I'm going to suggest that she is the nice quartet player in this race. So 2, 4, and 9 are my numbers in my jackpot 1 in this particular race. I've left out number 3, LMB. I hope it's not against my better judgment. Richard Free takes a ride, which is obviously a huge positive. Terry can do no wrong at the moment. Just funny enough, thought she was a bit flat last time. Maybe she needed it. Maybe the inside track caught her out. I watched that rerun again just before I sent these through, and she also had a bad draw on that occasion. On paper, it looks like she made a bit of ground through the field. I think she was running past beaten horses number 3, LMB. So I don't know why I'm keeping her at arm's length. Maybe I'm talking myself into liking her, and I've got to go with my first instinct. So 2, 4, and 9 for me, but I probably will bracket them with number 3, LMB.
Yeah, I don't like the race at all. I think it's a bit trappy. It's a bit deeper than we could think as well with this field of 9. But I think Trump My Queen, possibly the right horse in the race. And if she doesn't pitch up, then possibly just about anything. But Alistair suggesting horse number 4, Linger No More, really nice outside in the field at around 20 to 1 in the market. Want to certainly keep a very close eye on with Chase Morjan aboard. Race number 7, which is the World Sports Betting Spook Express Stakes over 2,400 meters. And this is a listed event. Your favorite in the lineup, Red Maple at 33-10, and that is Red Maple, horse number 9 from the Sean Terry yard. It's 9-2 Apache Fighter, 11-2 About Flying First Class, 6-1 Light Off the Moon, 6-1 Quiet Rebellion, Kind Judy, 7-1, and Better Bar those. Now, what's your take on the race, Alistair? Is Red Maple a worthy favorite in this lineup, given that she ran in the Oak Trail second behind Ipso Facto, which was an encouraging run, but ipso facto, I don't know whether she's going to be a horse that could go close in the lineup, but what's your take on the race?
I don't like the race at all. I think this is the hardest race on the card, Raheel. Is Red Maple in my jackpot? Yes, she is, but I must be honest, she was the last one I put in because even though she got no weight on her back, when she won a pretty average maiden place, and she's held her form at a reasonable level, but she's taken on last year's crop that ran at the highest level, whereas Red Maple didn't. So that's my worry with her. Yeah, she's a player. No doubt she's a player. But she's certainly not past the post. I'm surprised that she's favoured. A lot of horses in here with chances. My numbers are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 and 9. Number 1, Light of the Moon, best weighted filly in the race. If she's back to her form from 12 months ago, she's the one that they all need to beat. Number 2, Perfect Witness, no doubt good enough. I know with Candice and Perfect Witness, it's been 2 steps forward and 2 steps back with her. They're getting her sort of where she needs to be. She's trying this trip for the first time. With DeMello on board, you've always got hope, but it's an experiment and hopefully it works. 3, Flying First Class, certainly the most reliable over this distance, but her last run behind White Fang, even though White Fang was given a worldie by Keegan DeMello, Flying First Class I thought would have run better, and I think should have run better. 5, Apache Fighter, up in class, but her win in the Sun Chariot was out of the top draw, so that you cannot ignore because she's improving. 6, Kind Judy on that run in the Sun Chariot has to be a player as well, so that's why she's in. And then number 8 and 9, Quiet Rebellion, funny enough, ran this race last year and carried 2 kilos more and finished 2 lengths behind. She's a year older, a year uglier. She beat Silver Hills at her penultimate start. I was confident with Silver Hills in the Oaks, but she went down to the start poorly, so I'm not sure she ran her best possible race, Silver Hills. So I give number 8, Quiet Rebellion, a chance on the evidence of her last run over this course and distance, which was in this race 12 months ago.
Yeah, I'm with you. Don't like the race at all. It's another race where when you just have a look at it, there's quite a few weight turnarounds with several runners here, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see a shock result. But you could be right. If Light of the Moon is back to her very best, then she's the horse that's possibly going to take all the beating with Pierce Stradum aboard. And even though she does have the 62, Alistair has mentioned she's the best weighted horse in the race. And Perfect Witness, perhaps if she's back to her very best, she's another horse that you can never, ever, ever discount. So the top 2 in the weights department, possibly horses to keep a very close eye on, but Flying First Class, no doubt the most reliable in race number 7. Race number 8, which is the big one on the afternoon, the HSH Princess Charlene Empress Club Stakes. It's just a field of 7 runners that go to post over 1,600 meters for this grade 1 event. And when we have a look at the fixed odds betting market, your favorite in this lineup here in race number 8, I'm just trying to get online here, but it seems to be a bit slow. But Alistair, having a look at race number 8, obviously you were telling me off air that Desert Miracle has to be a huge runner after a comeback run last time out behind Humdinger. I thought the 3-year-olds could hold a very strong hand in the race. That's numbers 5, Give Me a Shot, and number 6, Feather Boa. But apart from those 3 horses, can you see anything else getting involved under your spell, Humdinger?
Yeah, there's a few angles at this race. It's not the first time that it's been a small field. If you think back a few years ago, the horse called Europa Point under Anton Marcus won this race in the same colours for the same trainer as Desert Miracle with a similar type of profile in a small field. So maybe lightning will strike twice. I think what we've got to bear in mind is the pace of this race. Yes, Humdinger is a known front runner, but she's not guaranteed to go 1,600 metres, certainly not at Group 1 level. So her best chance is probably to go to the front and stack them up. If she does that, then that makes number 1, Desert Miracle, a huge chance, because I don't believe she gets a true run mile. Looking out the windows, I'm actually in Candice's office, hoping that Mike DeCock opposite her is not going to pop his head out. I still don't believe she gets a true mile. I think if they go a slow pace in a mile, like they did in the Mallorca, then she gets a mile. But if they go gung-ho and they really take the sting out of her legs, then she probably just battles to make that up. So number 1, Desert Miracle, by virtue of a lightly slow pace, is a huge runner because I think pound for pound she's the best horse in the race. Number 2, Under Your Spell, also a Group 1 winner. Her run in the Horse Chestnut was a cracking effort behind Trip of Fortune. When you watch that race again, you'll see how unlucky Gimme a Shot was. Gimme a Shot's got a slightly harder ask at the weights this time around, but you know, she certainly gets a lot closer to number 2, Under Your Spell. I spoke to the connections in the car park after that race, and they were pleased with the run, but thinking what could have been with number 2, Under Your Spell. Not through any fault of anybody, but I suppose when you get to Group 1 level and you run that well, especially against boys when you're as good a filly as Under Your Spell is, you always think there could have been an extra length in the tank with number 2, Under Your Spell. Also remember, she ran second in this race last year behind Princess Colour. Now, Princess Colour was in this year's race. She would have been favoured, I think. So number 2, Under Your Spell, strong claims. And then number 6, Feather Boa. She just needs the right type of ride. I don't want to pigeonhole Keegan DeMello and stereotype him as a certain type of jockey, because he obviously isn't a certain type of jockey. He's a great jockey, he can win from anywhere. But I think that he will suit number 6, Feather Boa, down to the ground. So again, off a slow pace, I think she can quicken. I know she can quicken. She's just probably, if she wins narrowly, number 6, Feather Boa, and I think with a man riding like Keegan DeMello is at the moment, it's probably a good chance to strike with her. So 1, 2, and 6, my numbers in race 8.
Yeah, Keegan is certainly a very, very patient, and he could get the best out of Feather Boa. But Give Me a Shot, Under Your Spell, horses in with chances, and we'll see how the pace is in race number 8. Obviously, as you heard from Alistair, if they go slow, then it's going to suit number 1, Desert Miracle, and her stable companion, she's certainly going to have a job to do here in this lineup. We'll see how she goes over 1600, because she's obviously going to want to see out the trip. But if she doesn't, then Desert Miracle will certainly be staying on strongly. And then you have the 3-year-olds to compete with as well. That's race number 8, the feature on the day. And Alistair, quickly for you, narrow top choice, Desert Miracle, Under Your Spell. Which one for you?
Desert Miracle, because I think the race will run to suit.
Desert Miracle for Alistair. And I'm going to go with Give Me a Shot in this race here with JP van der Merwe aboard for the Azzy Yard. Next up, race number 9, fillies and mares, 80 handicap, 1600 meters a trip. 4:15 is the time you need to get your bets on. Just Be Nice, the inform 4-year-old filly. She's your favorite here at 28-10. 7-2 about Sharapova. It's 4-1 Trentino, 5-1 Liliana, and then 7-1 and Better Bar. Those now. Alistair, Candice has got Just Be Nice in this race here, and she's got her in a terrific space at the moment. She's obviously in cracking form, but she does take a step up in class, and she's got a bit more weight to shoulder. She's gone up the 7 points for that victory, which, yeah, I think we could say is a bit fair given the margin of victory and the way she won. But I think she's got a few horses that are going to give her a big run for her money here.
Very harsh £7 penalty, Raheel. They're very, very harsh indeed, because the line horse was a horse called Big City Girl who hasn't won in 3 years. So I think that £7 penalty was not justified. Yes, she's got more work to do, but she won easily enough last time, and I think the mile's what she's been looking for. Obviously, this Alec Ladle's Luna Ballad's got her measure at the weights, and I think Luna Ballad, if she goes a mile, she should go a mile. She runs like she'll get a mile. She should get close to number 4, Just Be Nice, but it'll be a very interesting contest to see who gets the better out of them, because Keratila Kajedi thinks that Just Be Nice is doing very nicely as well, thinks that she's doing better than she was in her last 2 starts. So hopefully the handicapper hasn't got it. I actually think the horse to beat is number 3, Winter Muse. She had a horrible draw last time out. She had to commit from there, and she just petered out of it. This time she's got a little bit more in her favour. She goes a mile for the first time. I think she'll get the trip. So number 3, Winter Muse, I think, is the one that everyone needs to beat. 4, Just Be Nice, can't put anyone off. 8, Sharapova, despite falling across the line over Gimme a Diamond last time, she's held in very high regard, and going the trip that her mother, of course, won a Group 1 over on this very race day a few years ago. Maybe it's written in the stars for her to back it up. So I think the winner comes from one of those 3, 4, 8, and 9.
Horse number 6, Time for Glory. This is going to be the rough in the race for me. Last time out, wasn't too far off them. Handicappers dropped her 4 points. She carries just 55.5, and I think she's possibly getting to the right mark where she's going to be very competitive. And I think the 1600 meter trip could just be ideal for this individual from the Waishong Maui outside at around 10 to 1 in the market. I know she hasn't won in some time. Well, she hasn't won since juvenile days, but I think maybe Time for Glory could just offer a bit of value in race number 9. It looks to be a race where a few horses do have a shout. Race number 10, the final race on the day. It's an MR87 handicap over 1160 meters. And when we have a look at this race, I can tell you that the money has come for horse number 2, Windwater, who's found that betting support early on. Austin Kerr's obviously in terrific form, but I think he's got his work cut out in this race, Alistair. From winning the maiden, beating Pour Some Sugar on Me, he's gone up from a 79 up to a 91. So what's that? 12 points for just 2 victories, and the margin of victory last time out to earn him a 6-point penalty, yeah, maybe a bit questionable. But a 3-year-old that's got 60 kgs to carry, taking on stronger company, I don't think he's going to have it quite his own way. 33 to 10 is current price, but the money horse ran behind Mercantor last time out, a cracking run, and he's no doubt the one to beat, number 2, Windwater.
Yeah, Mercantor, of course, franked that form by winning the Man of War a few weeks later. I think number 2, Windwater, is probably one of the better bets on the day. I think he'll take all the beating. I know that he's been frustrating, and I know that he's held in high regard. Even though it's the first time since his novice victory, he carries a substantial weight, but I think he's just down in class. I think he's just well set up to win, and I think that he will win. Dangers for me, 4 and 5. I think that they will run nicely. Captain Hansard going back to a sprint a little bit. He's on my radar, Captain Hansard. I liked him so much last time out behind Stormy Winton. He was unlucky not to get closer. I wish it was a 1400 meter race for Captain Hansard. Hopefully next time. So I think the 3-year-olds dominate. 2, Windwater, the horse to beat, with 4 and 5 set to go in striker match chances. The striker match has set to go's measure on the run in the sophomore, but I think set to go is a much better horse now than he was in the sophomore. So I think that he'll be there and thereabouts, but ultimately Windwater, the horse to beat.
That's horse number 2, Windwater, for Keegan de Mello and Johan Janse van Vieren in the final race on the day. It is possibly the get-out stakes if things aren't going your way, and maybe you can get out of it with horse number 2, Windwater. Now we're going to move along to the suggested bet, and Alistair, take us through your suggested bet for racing on Saturday, and it is a jackpot.
Yep, it's jackpot 1, which starts at 13.50, so early starts to the day this weekend. So race 5, 13.50, I've gone 1, 2 and 4, Gilded Butterfly, Terror Time and Escape Artist. Hopefully not to my demise with Crimson Princess, who I've been faithful to until now. Then race 6, which is late 2, I've gone with 2, 4 and 9, Trap My Queen, Linger No More at any price, and Skyfall. Then in the third leg, I've gone 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 and 9 there. So Light of the Moon, Perfect Witness, Flying First Class, Apache Fighter, Kind Judy, Quiet Rebellion and Red Maple. And the final leg, 1, 2 and 6, Desert Miracle, Under Your Spell and Featherbow. It's generally a race where the class horses don't let the punters down, so I'm hoping that that will go again this year. I remember Camp Ferratus won it a few years ago. I think that was the only dodgy result. So it's a race with a cracking roll of honour, and generally in a decade, 9 top fillies will win it.
Yeah, there's no KZN filly coming up to spoil the party this time around. It's just the Highveld traders, that the Highveld horses rather, that have it between them, and we'll see who comes out trumps in that event. Alistair, thanks very much for your time, and all the best. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Raheel. Same to you, same to all the viewers. Looking forward to racing at Turfffontein for another Group 1 day, the penultimate of their autumn season, of their championships.
All the best, guys, on Saturday at Turfffontein. Hopefully you find all the winners and make yourself quite a bit of cash.